How to fish like a pro. This video is packed with lots of proven fishing tips and techniques and must-know strategies and hacks to up your fishing game. So let's go. Hey folks, it's Tony and Joe from Father and Son Fishing. We're glad you're here. These next 10 minutes are packed with our top 10 expert tips from our 60 plus years of proven fishing techniques and expert tips, tricks, and hacks that will help you catch more fish every time out on the water. So make sure to watch the entire video, hit the subscribe button, and enable your bell notifications so you too can join our community of passionate anglers. Let's go. Okay, tip 1 is casting, because a good, accurate, and precise cast can literally make all the difference between catching more fish every time out or coming up short and getting skunked. Accuracy and control are paramount, and you simply need to be able to master overhand, sidearm, and underhand casts to be able to adapt to every type of situation you will face on any body of water. So you need to be able to cast within a few inches of your target and be able to flip in tight spots like around wooden docks and overhanging trees, all the spots most fishermen are afraid to cast into. That's where you gain the advantage, because that's where the biggest fish are always going to be. Around underwater submerged structure like fallen trees, logs, docks, rocky points, drop-offs and ledges, lily pads, and dense brush piles. The closer and more accurate you can be with your casts will allow you to place your baits right on top of the fish, and that will trigger more strikes every time.
Okay, tip 2. When it comes to presentation, you always want to be versatile with your retrieve speed, depending on a number of factors like water clarity, water temperature, barometer, weather and water conditions, and the fish's mood and feeding aggressiveness or lack thereof. For example, if you are fishing for pike, you want to usually be using a steady and fast retrieve to catch them. But for catfish, you want to let your bait sink all the way to the bottom and then just wait for them to find it and inhale it. So you just have to learn to be patient and adapt and adjust to any condition that you face that day.
Okay, tip 3 is choosing the right bait, which is always the key to catching more fish, no matter where you fish all over the world. The more that we can think like a fish, the more fish we're going to catch. First is live bait. If using live bait is legal where you live, there's truly nothing better to catch fish. The natural scent, taste and flavor, movement and wiggle of live bait is what fish eat every day where they live. It's irresistible. Live worms, live minnows, live bluegill or shad will catch bass, catfish, pike, walleye, and all species of panfish everywhere you fish. Live bait's always our first choice when fishing a new body of water, because you're always going to find out quickly what lives in there. And then you can match the hatch. Probably the most important saying in all of fishing. That is, matching the bait and lure colors you're using to mimic the local prey in that lake. Nothing is more important than to feed them what they're used to eating on a daily basis. It's not that complicated, so make it easy and use bait colors and textures that match what they see and eat every day. This is the number one way you will start catching more fish anywhere, and that's our guarantee. And for all the people that tell us, no, using live bait is for beginners, nonsense. So once you have identified the bait fish and forage that are present where you're fishing, then you can break out your crankbaits, jerkbaits, spinnerbaits, and jigs with realistic trailers that will work in all sorts of different water conditions and clarity. And you can catch virtually every fish that lives there: bass, walleye, pike, trout, catfish, and panfish.
Okay, step 4 to becoming a better fisherman is knowing what gear and equipment you need depending on what type of fish you are targeting. So choosing the right rod, reel, line, and hook is essential to having more success. For beginners, we recommend a good medium action graphite spinning rod paired with a good 5-bearing or higher spinning reel. This setup will allow you to catch bass, trout, panfish, walleye, catfish, and more. And if you're going for really big catfish like flatheads and blues, you want to use a longer, stronger, and sturdy 7 to 9 foot catfish rod that is going to allow you to cast your baits out farther into the deepest sections of the lake and be able to absorb the strong fight you're going to get from a much bigger catfish like that.
Okay, tip 5 is hooks. We always use blood red hooks, bait holders, worm hooks, trebles, and octopus circle hooks for catfish like you just saw, because red is the color of blood and it resembles dying or wounded bait fish. Science has proven that using blood red hooks will trigger more predatory strikes every time, and it's all we use. So switch out all your hooks to blood red hooks and you will begin catching more fish, period. And red is the bass's favorite color and the one they see best even down to 20 feet in depth.
In terms of line, all we use is braided fishing line, 20 to 30 pound strength for all fish you're after. We also use 50 pound minimum if you are after flatheads or blue catfish. Braided line is very strong, abrasion resistant, and yet extremely sensitive so that you will always feel even the subtlest of strikes. And this will allow you to land more fish every time.
Okay, tip 7. Hopefully you're still with us and you've gotten some good tips from the video thus far. Let's talk feeding habits. One thing you need to know about most fish, particularly bass, catfish, crappie, and many others, is that they prefer to feed in lower light conditions. So that's why you'll always hear fishermen say the best times to fish are at dawn and dusk. Doesn't mean you can't catch fish all day, because you certainly can. But keep in mind that on bright, sunny, warm summer days, fish will tend to be in deeper and cooler water and will come into the shallows to feed as dusk approaches into the nighttime. And similarly, most fish will tend to feed most aggressively on cloudy and overcast days. So always be willing to adjust your fishing style based on what the weather and water are telling you.
Okay, tip 8. Back on the topic of live bait. A great hack to keep your nightcrawlers plump and juicy and lively year-round is to keep them in the refrigerator all year in a well-ventilated styrofoam container, and you can feed them cornmeal dusted on top about once a week. This will keep them alive and frisky for many months, so move over butter and milk and make way for our #1 best fishing bait.
Okay, tip 9, when you're using live minnows to catch yellow perch, crappie, bass, and any panfish, you want to be using a good aerator, which pumps oxygen into the minnow bucket water, keeps it cooler, and allows the minis to live a lot longer. And you can also pour some hydrogen peroxide into the minnow water, which also oxygenates it. And put some ice cubes in sealed baggies into the bottom of the minnow bucket, which will keep the water cooler and extend the life of those precious minnows so you can catch more fish and spend more time out of the water doing just that.
Tip 10. One final tip when using emerald shiner minnows is to hook them up through the lips so that they swim more naturally, and this method of hooking them will also keep them alive a bit longer.
Okay, folks, thanks for watching. We hope that all these tips and techniques and tricks will now allow you to fish like a pro every time you're out on the water. And if you found this video helpful, please give us a thumbs up and make sure to share it with all your fishing buddies. And don't forget to subscribe for more great fishing tips that we post every day, and enable your bell notifications so you never miss the next great fishing video that we put out. So tight lines, my friends, and we'll certainly see you out on the water.
Becoming a better fisherman isn't just about catching a really big fish. It's also about improving and honing in your skills, understanding the water, and appreciating the fishing experience. Here are the key takeaways from today's video. First, always you want to do your homework. Study the species you are targeting, and you want to learn their habits. The knowledge is the best tool. Second, practice patience and consistency. Great fishing is not just about luck, it's about persistence and adapting to the conditions that you're in. Finally, you want to respect nature, protect the waters, follow the rules, and leave no trace behind. A good fisherman will always leave the environment better than they found it. So let's wrap up, folks. Want to catch more fish? Here's the best advice I can give you. Invest in quality gear, but remember it's not the rod, it's also the technique. You want to learn to cast, reel, and adjust your approach based on the conditions you are fishing in.
Okay, fishing friends, that's the end of this video. Again, make sure to hit the subscribe button, enable your bell notifications so you never miss another great video, and tight lines. We will see you out on the water real soon. Okay, folks, thanks for watching. Please like this video, hit the subscribe button before you leave, and don't forget to enable your bell notifications so you never miss another great video coming your way.